Welcome to F&I Today with Paul Brown, exclusively on CBT News.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of F&I Today, exclusively here on CBT News. I'm Paul Brown, Vice President of Ascent Dealer Services. F&I Today is dedicated to providing F&I training techniques and solutions to drive higher CSI and more profits to your dealership's bottom line. So today, let's talk about our factory warranty presentation. There are a few things that an F&I manager needs to do well to really increase our VSC penetration and our dollars per VSC. And one of those things that is absolutely critical that we do is a really robust factory warranty presentation. This is one of the steps that when I go into stores I see is actually skipped quite a bit, or it's really glossed over. And what we do is we lose the opportunity to present some things and some ideas and some information in a non-threatening space for the consumer. So obviously when we do a factory warranty, we're going to talk about the different warranties that come with the vehicle, what they do, what they don't do, what you need to do to keep them enforced, and primarily we're going to focus on our comprehensive and our powertrain. So our powertrain, rather than powertrain, I like to call that a stated component. And the reason that I do that is that with any type of stated component service contract, what it basically does, it gives you a list of things that are covered. And if it's not on that list, you don't have coverage. Whereas a comprehensive tells you these are the things that aren't covered. And if it's not on that list, you have coverage. So it's easier for a customer to understand that. And I typically like to go from the more robust things backwards. So I'll talk about things like the emissions, then I'll go into like our powertrain coverage. In most instances, that's a 4-year 50 or a 5-year 60, and talk about what that is and what it does and what the consumer needs to do to keep it enforced. Now, the reason that we're going to talk about the powertrain portion is when we talk about the things that a customer needs to do, like they have to maintain the vehicle in accordance with the owner's manual in order to keep that factory powertrain warranty in force. Well, that leads directly into our conversation we're going to have later about prepaid maintenance. So if a customer has to do these things and they need to do them just to simply keep their factory warranty in force, but we can offer them those services at a discount, then it naturally makes sense for them to take advantage of that. But so we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the comprehensive portion of the service contract. This is where all of the magic happens, because there are some things that we need to bring out and inform the customer of that maybe they don't know. And a lot of times they're not gonna know. So again, this is a way for us to be informational, and this is a way for us to actually pre-frame a lot of our service contract objections that we get later when we get to the menu process. And by pre-framing, what I mean is that we bring up a solution or a conversation about an objection that we may get later, and it kind of eliminates that objection. So one of the things that we're going to talk about, obviously, when we're talking about the comprehensive and the powertrain, there's a couple things that we need to know from the customer. And we want everybody to be an expert in their products, right? We want everybody to be able to talk about service contracts and all the products with absolute authority. So you should know these products inside and out. If you don't, stop taking transactions, go to school and learn your products. It's critically important, because if a customer asks you a question about a product or you're kind of fumbling through your presentation, they immediately think that you don't know what you're talking about, and that if you don't know what you're talking about and this is your sole job, they're not going to have any confidence in you. And if they don't have confidence in you, they simply are not going to buy, even if they're predisposed to having the product. So we need to build that confidence by knowing our products inside and out. But the couple of pieces of information that we need to know up front just to do a good factory warranty presentation is we need to know how many miles the customer drives a year and how long they plan on keeping the car. And the reason that we do this is we need to know how many miles the customer drives a year, because a lot of times customers hear what they want to hear and they don't necessarily hear everything that we're saying. So when we tell a customer that they have a 3-year, 36,000 mile comprehensive, they could drive 20,000 miles a year and they're hearing what they want to hear. So they're going, I got 3 years, I'm cool. right? So we want to let them know, obviously, how their factory warranty expires. So it expires by time or mileage, whichever occurs first. So if the customer drives 15,000 miles a year, they don't have a 3-year 36. They have a 2.4-year 36. And then I like to tell the customers, so do you see how your driving habits kind of squish down your factory warranty? And I do that with my hands. I love to do that because nobody likes to have their coverage squished, right? So when we tell them, well, you're 5-year 60, you don't actually have a 5-year 60, you have a 4-year 60. Because again, driving 15,000 miles a year, you're gonna hit the 60,000 miles before you hit the time. And it works in the reverse order. So if a customer drives 10,000 miles a year, they don't have a 3-year 36, they actually have a 3-year 30 if they legitimately drive 10,000 miles a year. So again, we want to let them know how their factory warranty expires. That's important because we just don't want the customer feeling like they have more coverage than what they actually do. We want to be completely transparent with everything. So the next thing that we're going to talk about in our factory warranty is we need to, during our factory warranty presentation, get out the fact of what parts and labor is. So you, as a finance professional, must know in your shop, what is your customer pay labor rate? If it's $175 an hour, if it's $200 an hour, if it's $230, whatever it is, you need to know that so that you can do the math with the customer and let them know what the cost of parts and labor is. Because there are experts in our industry that say that for every dollar that you spend in labor, you spend $2 in parts. And some people are saying that that number is starting to encroach $3 in parts. I like to use 2 because I don't want the number to seem so fantastic that the customer goes, oh, that number's so high, it's not believable. So if you're $150 an hour labor rate, and for every dollar they spend in labor, they spend 2 in parts, well, labor's $150 an hour, parts is $300 an hour, which means you're $450 an hour parts and labor. So we want to get that out during our factory warranty again because it's just information at that point, not some sort of closing technique. If a customer says no to a service contract and we go, well, do you know how expensive the labor is in our shop? And do you know for every dollar you spend in labor, you spend $2 in parts? Now it becomes a closing technique. It becomes a word track. And the hair on the back of a customer's neck starts to stand up because they go, here we go. Here comes the closing and the pressure and all the stuff that they don't want when they come into our office. So we want to talk to them about parts and labor. We want to talk to them about how many repairs the manufacturer is budgeting for currently. How we do that and how we know that is, let's just take a look at the J.D. Power frequency of repair report they do every single year. In 2025, the average in the industry was 204 repairs per 100 cars. So basically two per vehicle in the first 3 years. And they run a 3-year cycle for all manufacturers because some manufacturers have a 3-year 36, some have a 4-year 50 on their comprehensive. So they just do it 3 years so that it's even for everybody. But I know something about the manufacturers. They're not going to budget just for how many they're experiencing. They're going to budget for more than that because as these electronics become more and more fickle, they might put a part in a car that fails much more than what they were anticipating doing. So if the average right now is 2, then they're probably budgeting for 2.5, maybe even 3. And as finance professionals, we need to kind of get into our head that when we're looking at service contracts, right, because the goal of a factory warranty presentation is to sell a service contract, but we need to look at the factory warranty just like any other part that's on a car. Now, we understand that a warranty is coverage that is given to a customer at no additional cost when they buy a product. So the 3-year 36, the 5-year 60, that doesn't cost the customer anything additional. It comes with the vehicle. But we have to understand that that factory warranty is just like a navigation system. It's just like a display, a screen that's in a display. It's just like tires and wheels. It's just like an engine transmission. There is an inherent cost to it when actuaries decide how much the MSRP of a car should be. So when they come out with prices for cars every single year, there's these really unique individuals called actuaries that sit down and they crunch all the math and they say, okay, we're experiencing this many repairs and our average repair is this, so we need to allocate for $1,500 or $1,800, whatever the math is, for the factory warranty within the price of the MSRP of the car. So even though it doesn't cost the customer anything, there is an inherent cost that the manufacturer is assigning to it, and we need to understand that. How does that work? Well, most manufacturers are budgeting between 2 and 3% of the MSRP. That's what they budget for the factory warranty. So when we're having a conversation with a customer, again, this helps us pre-frame some objections. So when that customer comes in and they go, well, they say no to the service contract when we present the menu, and we say, well, earlier when we talked about that, Chevy is budgeting for 2 repairs during the factory warranty or 2.5 repairs during the first 3 years. If they're budgeting for that in the first 3 years and you're planning on keeping this car 6 years, how many should you budget for? It needs to be at least double that and maybe even more than double, because what we see with frequency of repair reports is that there's a certain point, and it's at about the 3-year mark, that repairs really climb and that chart goes up pretty rapidly. And what we see is that as cars get older, they break more frequently. And as they break more frequently, they break more expensively. So we want to be able to let the customer know how the manufacturer is budgeting for these repairs. So that's really important. We want to talk to them when we're talking about this comprehensive portion of the warranty about electronics in the car. 10 years ago, about 25% of the total cost of a car was the electronics and electrical components. Today, that's nearly 50%. So what that means is that as we've packed cars with more and more gadgets, and cars get more and more technology in them, the mechanical components of a car are actually much more reliable than the electronic components. These electronic components are kind of like a light bulb. They're either working or they're not. And they have a finite lifespan. When they install it on the car, it's going to last for a certain period of time. We don't know if that's going to be 6 months, 6 years, or 16 years. But eventually it's going to go out. And there's nothing that we can do to maintain it. Contrary to the powertrain portion of the factory warranty, when we're talking about that there's certain maintenances that they need to do. If you maintain an engine and transmission really well, it's not uncommon to get 150,000 miles out of an engine or transmission today. But these electronics, they break super frequently. And as we see these frequency of repair reports and we look at from 10 years ago, 2015 to 2025, we've had almost a 45% increase across the board in repairs. Why is that? It's all these electronics. If we look at a car today, find a car that doesn't have a backup camera, that doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, that doesn't have some sort of digital dash or display, that doesn't have these bigger dashes that are, today 10-inch dashes are pretty common. And we have the 12 and 15-inch dashes. These things are super expensive. So as we add more electronics, that's what's causing the price of these cars to go up. So nearly 50% of the total cost of a car today is the electronics and electrical components. So when we look at that, our average new car price is up a little bit over $15,000 over the past 10 years. That's almost a 45% increase. And again, it's the electronics and electrical components. So all of these things that we put in cars to make them nice and give us all the technology and the gadgets that we really want, they're the things that are the most fragile. And we just need to have that better conversation with the customer while we're talking about the factory warranty. I don't want to have any of these conversations after they've said no. I want to have them early when we're talking about our factory warranty. So as you go through your factory warranty presentation and you talk about the powertrain, you talk about the comprehensive, you talk about how those expire, that's the perfect time to just let the customer know, hey, what does all this mean to you? Well, back in our shop right now, it's $150 an hour labor rate. And we know from the manufacturers and from the service contract companies that today, for every dollar a customer is spending in labor, they're spending about $2 in parts. So you're $150 an hour labor, which means you're about $300 an hour in parts. So it's about $450 an hour parts and labor to get your car repaired on today. Now the good news is for the first 3 years, well actually 2.4 years in your case because you drive 15,000 miles a year, but for the first 2.4 years, you don't have to worry about that because Toyota's writing that check for you. So when you bring your car in under the factory warranty to get it repaired, we're still paying our technicians, we're still ordering parts, but Toyota's paying for that on your behalf, and that's really cool. So how does Toyota budget for that? Well, what we see is that across the board with manufacturers are budgeting for between 2 and 2.5 repairs in the first 3 years. So how do they budget for that? Well, what we see is that it's between 2 and 3% of the MSRP on the new cars, what they set aside for repairs during the factory warranty. So on your $50,000 vehicle that you're buying today, they set aside somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 to pay for repairs during your factory warranty. So that's pretty cool. So there's just some things that you don't have to worry about. But again, what we're looking at is 10 years ago, the total cost of a car that comprised the electronic components was about 25%. And today, the electronics make up almost 50% of the total cost of a car. So as cars have gotten more and more expensive, increased almost 45% over the past 5 years, what we've seen is that it's because all of these electronics. And these things are great. They give us all the stuff that we love on the cars and all the cool gadgets and all the cool technology, but these things are just kind of like a light bulb. They're either working or they're not. So if they fail, and they fail at a much higher rate than the mechanical components, those first 3 years, you're taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to frame the service or the factory warranty presentation like that so that we can sell a service contract later. And by pre-framing some of those things, we get rid of some of those objections. We now have gotten rid of that objection where the Toyota customer says, you know what, Toyotas don't break. I don't feel like I need it. So no thanks. Well, if you look at where they are on J.D. Power, Toyota, they're a little bit better than most, but they're somewhere around 150 problems per 100 cars. So they're budgeting for 1.5 to 2 repairs on a Toyota. Well, who knows Toyota better than Toyota? Nobody, right? Because they see every car, every new car that comes through, they get reports because they're paying the tab on that. So we get rid of that. These cars don't break. And it doesn't matter what kind of car it is, right? This works for all of them because if somebody's buying a Chevy or they're buying a GMC or they're buying a Buick or they're buying a Ford, they're buying that car because they think that it's a good manufacturer and they believe they're gonna get a good one. Nobody ever goes in and buys a car and says, I'm buying this because I know it's gonna break. They're buying it because at some level they have faith in it. And our job, it's okay for them to have faith in it, but our job is to let them know that today's Chevy is not the Chevy of 10 years ago. And you have to be a little bit more prepared for some things today that you didn't need to be prepared for 10 years ago. And that all happens in our factory warranty presentation, because at that point, we're just giving the customer good information and not trying to close anything, but in talking about some of this stuff, now we can kind of pre-frame some of these objections. So think about your factory warranty and inserting, there's 5 things that you need to have in there. Get those 5 things in there and do it during that point when you haven't asked the customer to buy anything and you're just giving them information, and now that pre-frames and even maybe handles some of the objections that you may experience after your menu. Also, when we're doing our factory warranty presentation, it's not something to get through. Spend more time on that than anything else, because again, this is going to help you when you get to the menu to have a better conversation with the customer, because now we can refer to all this data that we just gave them. So that's our show for today. Thank you for joining us for today's show. I'm Paul Brown with Ascent Dealer Services, and I'll see you next time for another episode of F&I Today, exclusively here on CBT News.
Thanks for watching F&I Today with Paul Brown, exclusively on CBT News.